I'm Michael Marshall of Barbaric Brutality. Run the label. The homie here's 7 Kane of Snuffed On Sight. And this is Draped and Dripped. We got Alex from Undeath. The vocalist of Undeath is our guest on today. But per usual, we're going to run through a little news, what's been popping, what's been cracking in underground death metal, and we'll get them on the line. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into the shit, bro. We got the first piece of news here, just announced. Maggot Stomp they're putting out, it's a band called Abhorrency. It's actually Jaime from Denunciation, the vocalist. It's his, I guess you could call it more like a bestial black metal band. Pretty cool, man. I've seen them live here in Sacramento. They're a local band. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a demo. It's been out for a little while, but yeah, they gave it a 7-inch pressing, man. Kind of a wild card for Maggot Stomp.
Yeah, I've never even heard of them. I know Denunciation, obviously, but like.
Yeah, man. It almost seems like something that like a label like Nuclear War Now or something, like would put out, but being kind of more like I don't want to put a label on them, but kind of more war metal or bestial black metal and shit. But dude, I'm all about the wild cards, man.
How many times a day do you think you say wild card?
How many times a day? No. I'd fucking say at least like 80, no doubt. At the minimum. But I'm all about the wild cards, man. I feel like Snuffed On Sight was a wild card, It was like most of our fan base is just straight up, traditional or old school death metal fans and stuff. And you came in with fucking closed hi-hat breakdowns and fucking almost like hardcore fucking weird rap, segments and everything. So, hey, I got love for the wild cards for sure. So what else, man? You got anything, you got any news over in your world? Anything you've been seeing popping up?
Undeath's new album made it on the Billboard chart, which is pretty insane.
It is. What like overall, what was their number?
It was like 190
on the top 200.
Yeah, on 200.
Still, dude, that is fucking incredible. That's just overall Billboard charts. That like an underground death metal album would pop up on there. I know. I recall a couple other ones where like Blood Incantation was one that I saw that popped up on there. I think Gate Creeper had popped up on there recently as well with Deserted, but that's cool because I feel like those bands, I feel like they have much more maybe like acclaim or like notoriety. So for Undeath to like be amongst the ranks of those cats, on the Billboard charts, that's pretty fucking crazy, dude. They're really making a name for themselves. That's awesome. There was a lot of variants on like the vinyl and everything. My favorite one, I think, I'm just a sucker for like blood splatter. So it was like clear vinyl with like kind of blood red splatter, It was fucking clean, dude. It's pretty cool.
I like the purple one.
Of course, big surprise, dude. The purple. Everything's purple. Oh yeah. Boy. All right, we got. Oh, I'm up next. Okay. A little label news, little shameless plug right here. We got Snuffed On Sight shirts. We launched a pre-order with the tape. I actually just picked up the shirts from the printer. So I'm just in the process of, going through, inventorying them, making sure they're all there. I will be shipping out. If you order just a shirt, I'll be shipping that out here pretty soon. If you ordered it with the tape, I'll ship it all together when the tapes come in. Also in the works, we haven't really leaked the design, anything like that. It's not going to be a pre-order. I just came out of pocket and got the shirts. But we're having some Barbaric Brutality short sleeves and long sleeves coming. I think by next week. 7, you saw the design. You think it's going to be clean?
Yeah. That shit's clean as fuck.
He's getting slimy with it. So, what's popping, Slime? All right. I think anything else, man? Anything you could think of, or?
Oh, really? You met up with Frank from Sewer Rot, right?
I did, yeah, man. So it's cool. I was so I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm a Sacramento kid. I'm a Northern California guy, but I travel for work all over the West Coast, shit, all over the fucking the left half of the country. But I was down in the LA area, met up with the homie Frank from Soul Devourment and Sewer Rot, and dude, awesome guy. It was cool. It's kind of like a fucking blind date, man. We had never met before. We just met up. I got some acai bowls. It was awesome, man. It was cool to talk to somebody else who's running like a little independent death metal label. Just kind of talk shop, and he's a history teacher, so we're bullshitting about history, all kinds of stuff, man. Just a really cool dude. So I definitely support what those dudes got going on, no doubt.
That's it.
Well, shit. Do you want to go ahead and send the invite? Get Alex on the line?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What's up, man?
Chilling. How are you?
Good. What's up, Alex? Great to see you, man.
Good to see you, bro.
Thanks for your patience, man. We're broke boys over here. We're just running on a free Zoom account, so we're
I am too. It's all good.
Cool, man. Good
Don't
shit.
sweat
How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's been very low key, just chilling at home, not doing a whole lot. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Yeah, just woke up, ran a couple errands, got a little gym session in. Now I'm just crushing some Mai Tais and seltzers, just trying to get caught up on East Coast time.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. So how's life been, man? You guys dropped the LP, and it's like pretty much the fucking most poppin' thing in death metal right now, man.
Yeah, man, it's sick. I'm stoked that people like it, because I was worried that people were really not gonna like it, but people seem to enjoy it. So I'm happy about that. It's surreal though, because sometimes I see people calling it like hyped up and shit, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who they're talking about, and then I realize it's my band. And I'm like, oh fuck.
Dude, well, it's an awesome LP, and I think it deserves all the hype, man.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely. I think I like not to be the dork who's like I followed you guys since, but I remember like when sentient autolysis, is that, I guess, would be the pronunciation?
I think it's sentient autolysis. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I accept all pronunciations.
Yeah, man. I've been kind of fucking with you guys since then to see the band come up. I mean, both you guys and like Sangui Sugabog, like kind of were fucking with each other from early on, right? And
yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah, those guys are like the first new death metal band that we like became bros with, and yeah, we love those guys. They like took us out on. I mean, we've only played like 11 shows, and I think like 9 of them have been with Sangui Sugabog. We fucking love those guys.
Well, that's being in good company, man. And like honestly, it's crazy because both of your bands now are probably two like household names in the death metal scene. So
damn, yeah. I mean, it's great. I'm just happy that people like the album. I'm happy that it's getting the reception it's getting. It makes me very flattered.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, hey, I know you're probably somewhat familiar with the format of the show. Yep. Typically, we just reach out to the gram, try to get some hot takes, questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, man, we'll jump right in, see what the people are.
Let's do it.
All right, hell yeah. Did the bird man, dude. Yeah. Pick out some money. So 7, what do you got, man? What's the first one on the list?
Death metal 7 inches are silly.
I'm inclined to agree. I think 7 inches in general, like as a format, inherently are kind of silly, because you listen to like 4 minutes of music and then you stand up. I think it's like a great format of music for people that love like sitting down and standing up again. But like I would do a 7-inch in a heartbeat. I love buying them. I just think they're silly. So I agree, but I also fuck with them for sure.
Yes, that is awesome. I was talking to 7 earlier, and I think maybe what they're getting at, because death metal songs are typically pretty long, so it's like one song per side, But I kind of came up in punk, so it's like punk and grindcore. It was cool because you can get like fucking 5-6 songs.
No, definitely. You kind of need to split hairs with a question like that, because like grindcore and hardcore and power violence 7 inches make total sense, but for like a death metal or a doom metal 7-inch, that's always kind of a head scratcher for me. But I mean, I pre-ordered that Mortiferum Hyperdontia 7-inch like 15 minutes ago, so
Yeah,
I obviously still like them.
the epitome of like that example, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Death doom band, you know, just one song per side, kind of.
I was looking at it before I bought it, and I was like, the Mortiferum song is like 7.5 minutes long, and I was like, does that even fit on a 7-inch? But apparently it does.
Man, and even just, I don't know, just aesthetically, I think 7-inches, they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like these, but just how they fit in your hand and everything, I don't know, it's kind of neat. I've always loved 7-inches. So
yeah, you know, whatever makes you happy. I think if death metal bands want to do 7-inches, I'm not gonna fucking clown them for that. I mean, Undeath will probably do a 7-inch at some point, and you know, it's gonna be sick. So whatever.
And it better fucking be a split 7-inch, one song per side.
It's gonna be like the worst cover you've ever heard.
Oh shit. Well, Seven, what do you got, man? We got some more questions on the list, bro.
We got another hot take. Wearing high tops is low key overrated.
This hits close to home, man.
I mean, they're fucking shoes, bro. Like, go outside.
I guess I could get when he. Well, I rock high top Vans all the damn time. Maybe he's talking specifically, you know, like the OG white, like thrash metal high tops.
Yeah, I can only imagine that's what it's about.
Yeah, but hey, fuck it, rock whatever the fuck you want to rock. I think like the bands on Sewer Rot Records like rock those fucking old ass, like, you know, OG Adidas tops.
I mean, yeah, like I have a very personal bias, but at the same time, it's like, bro, they're fucking shoes. Like, who cares?
No doubt. Yeah, I think another one came up about like the Pit Vipers. Whenever something's popping, it's like, I don't know, I feel like somebody's got to be contrarian, you know, like, shit's up. Shit's overrated.
Yeah. People just love fucking hating on the most like innocuous bullshit possible. I'll never understand it.
Hey, those are ankle protectors, bro. Straight up. Not fuck with high tops.
Yeah. If you're like wading through a marsh or something, you're gonna want your ankles to be dry.
Yeah, so hey, I think we all disagree with this hot take. You fuck with high top, Seven?
Nah.
All right.
I ain't hating.
Respect.
Hey, it's unanimous.
A diplomatic answer.
Yeah, there we go. It was a pretty simple one, no doubt. What you got, Seven? What's up next on the list?
Why is the metal scene so full of boners that hate on what people like?
You know?
What a lot of people like. Like what's popular. I think he gave the example. Your guys' LP's popping, so inevitably the haters swarm, you know, essentially.
Yeah, man. I don't know. You know, I don't know what it is about metal specifically that gets people so tight about bands achieving like any sort of success whatsoever in any realm, but it just like sends people into a fucking frenzy. And I try to, well, I don't really actively try to figure it out because I feel like if I sat down and tried to really rack my brain over what makes people mad about various metal bands, I would just lose my mind. And I think it's best to just ignore it and not really give a fuck about what people think and just put them on your pay no mind list and just keep pushing and just keep doing your own thing. That's my my very polite answer. The less polite answer would be you know, fuck a hater, who cares?
There's just like a certain level of like elitism that's kind of just inherent in most underground music. I mean, obviously we always talk about metal, but I've came up in punk. It's there. It's in even anything like indie rock, man. You know, there's always going to be the self-proclaimed gatekeepers and elitists. What's funny about those cats is more often than not, those are the cats who really don't really have any shit popping, like in terms of like contributing to the scene. You know, they're not making music, they're not helping, or they're not running labels, distros, anything. All they're doing is like, you know, just really hating on people and not really bringing any value, man. I never understood it. There shouldn't be like a famine mentality. It's like, I don't know, don't hate on bands. Everybody has their own lane. It's like the more the merrier, you know? I think the more labels, the more bands putting out shit, the better, in my opinion. I
agree. Yeah, I've never had an elitist or like a gatekeeping mindset when it came to other people's shit. You know, there's like I'm a human being. I have opinions. There's shit that I don't like and there's shit that I love, but I'm never gonna tell somebody like, yo, your shit sucks. Like, stop being in a band, because I want everybody to win. Like, if you're doing your thing and you're doing something that like nourishes your soul, I want you to keep doing that and I want you to be happy. But like, I will never understand the mindset of somebody who, like you said, has nothing going on, like is not even trying to make art or music or anything, and just spends all their free time just like freaking the fuck out over what everyone else is doing. Like, Undeath got like one, like less than a paragraph write up in some online Rolling Stone thing, and like Devin.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like it's cool, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's Rolling Stone, bro. Like, it's like a neat thing, but it doesn't really mean much. But we just shared it because we thought it was cool, and
it is cool, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Devin from Sang with Sokobox shared it, and this dude replied to it, and it was like 7 paragraphs of just being like, "Stay the fuck away from my death metal. This is why we need gatekeepers. I'm not letting these fucking people infiltrate my music scene." I was just like, bro, oh my god, dude. Like, it's like 50 words about one album. Like, I'm about to do a fucking wellness check on you. Like, I'm concerned for you.
Absolutely. And that's why those cats never have shit popping, because they're spending all their time composing 7-paragraph responses to
Yeah, I just like, and I'm not even mad about that. Like, I'm not like looking at this dude and like, you know, cracking my knuckles and typing this furious response to him. Like, I just feel bad. I'm like, bro, like, I wish that you would start a band, because I would probably listen to your band.
It's been many moons since I've ever played music, but coming up as a kid and a teenager, I was in bands, and I'll never like tell a band like, hey, you suck, like quit playing music or anything like that. If somebody asked my honest opinion, I was like, yeah, it's not necessarily my cup of tea or something, you know?
Right.
But I just know how much like hard work and how much of yourself you put into music. So it's like, for some dipshit who's never like created anything of their own to try to tear you down, it's like, nah, you kind of have to experience it first, you know? And you have that appreciation. Everybody kind of expresses their own art, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think I have the same mindset, for sure.
Well, what do we got next, 7?
How important is an album cover to the quality of an album?
This is a good one.
That is a good question. I don't know. I mean, the quality of the album, if you want to get like literal about it, the quality of an album is the music, right? So in that sense, whatever's on the cover has no bearing to what the music is. So I guess if you want to read the question like that, it is not important at all. But in terms of getting people to actually like interact with the album and pick it up and check it out, it's the most important thing there is. You know, it's all you're going off of, that and just somebody else telling you to check it out. So yeah, I think it's kind of you can sort of look at it in 2 different ways.
I totally think the album art, I guess when I hear album, I guess I'm thinking of like the total package, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like not only like the audio, you know, the audible aspect, but like the aesthetic appeal as well. And I just remember coming up, like, I'm kind of an old boy, not really, but I mean, I'm 31. I remember like before having the internet, going to like Tower Records and looking through, you know what I mean? It was just like, yeah, you're just looking at the album covers like, oh, this looks fucking sick. I'm going to try it out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten into countless metal albums that way, like just based off of the album cover alone. Like even bands that I otherwise would never have fucked with, because I just assumed they weren't going to be my thing. I checked out at least once because I thought the album cover was sick.
Yeah. So I guess I would say it this way. I think an album cover can definitely break an album. No doubt, because I think I'm a huge fan of like brutal death metal, and that's a genre that's kind of got like a really distasteful aesthetic.
Yeah, that's a very polite way to say it, for sure.
Yeah, in my opinion, it doesn't appeal to my like sensibilities and shit. But I love the genre, and a lot of it's like kind of rejected just due to the fact that like they have like crazy album covers and everything. So I definitely feel like it can kind of break like an album, but if the album's really good and it's like kind of mediocre, I don't really think it's going to hurt the album so much, but it can really add to it. You know what I mean? If it's like an awesome album cover, for sure.
Definitely, and it can kind of add to like the maybe not the aesthetic, but just like the overall way that you perceive a band too. Because like the Mexican Disgorge, I mean their shit is just gnarly. Like their covers are so gross.
That's
And,
like the gnarliest, probably, yeah, that I can think of. Damn near.
and they're
Yeah.
like, and it helps that that band is also sick as fuck, and they're just like deadly musicians. But the fact that like that coupled with the fact that their album covers are legitimately like terrifying to look at in a very real way makes that band like legitimately scary to me, and
Yeah.
that kind of makes me want to listen to them more.
Absolutely. It can really, yeah, and beyond just an album, I feel like maybe like having like this consistent aesthetic like throughout like the whole band's career. Like a band like Ruin comes to mind. They're kind of like spooky and like they're fucking creepy samples. You know, their aesthetics like pretty fucking freaky with it. You know, a lot of medieval pictures and like, yeah, if you can kind of have that consistent vibe, I think that's cool because you create this whole atmosphere around the band, kind of. You know.
Definitely, yeah. Love consistency in album artwork. When bands have like one or even two is kind of pushing it, but like one guy doing all of their covers, like that's A+ to me. I love that.
Yeah, totally, man. I agree. Shit, Seven, what do you think on it, man? Do you think it's a big factor?
I mean, kind of said it. It goes both ways. Like, I know I like a lot of albums that have terrible covers, but it doesn't matter because the album fucking rips. Or like, but like I won't check out an album probably if it looks whack. But
Definitely, it adds to it. I'm big. Hey, maybe, and it's also subjective. For some people, they could give a shit. I guess it's all about the music. But for
Right.
me, I'm a sucker for like the total package. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm not a big black metal guy, but I like how sometimes I've heard like they like send out with like little fucking like potpourri or some shit, like almost like some
Yeah.
like into all the senses and shit. It's like, oh, cool. You open up this package, you like look at visual, the smells going. I'm like, oh, it's kind of. I'm a sucker for all that shit. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think it definitely contributes to the total package.
For sure, and like the label Youth Attack, they were like really popping back in the late 2000s. I want to say that hardcore label. They were just the kings of doing insane packaging with their records. Like I think it was the band Cult Ritual. There were various variants of the 7-inch, and like they each came with a little baggie of something. Like I think one of them came with a bag of hair, and then one of them came with like a tooth. Like it was nuts. I have the hair 7-inch somewhere back there, but like that shit is sick. Like when bands do freaky shit like that, I'm all about it.
Dude, straight up. I love all that weird, like it might just be like kind of novelty, like little marketing gimmicks and stuff, but I love that shit, dude. It's cool. It's like off the wall, just like creative ideas. I love that shit.
100%.
Yo, Seven, what you got, homie? What's next on the list?
most modern death metal lacks the atmosphere and originality of old school death
Of what?
metal. OSDM.
Oh, okay. So is that like modern death metal, like bands that aren't in this whole OSDM scene?
I think so. I think the hot take, the exact wording was modern death metal lacks the atmosphere originality of the OG death metal bands.
Okay.
Like the 90s cats, the old boys.
What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I think Undeath's a perfect example that you like obviously kind of pay homage to the OG cats and like have a lot of elements and influences. But I think you bring a creative approach. Naturally, I think that OSDM is kind of big right now. So a lot of bands are jumping on the wave. And a lot of them are really like lackluster or mediocre. But it's like the cream rises, you know what I mean? Like cats like you guys are bringing like, you guys are obviously have like those strong early like death metal influences, but you're not just trying to be a copy of an old band. You know what I mean? Guys, I feel like you guys are bringing like a unique approach to it. So
yeah, well, I mean, thanks, man. I mean, yeah, I think I don't know, because I feel like with a lot of modern death metal bands, a lot of bands are consciously trying to emulate that sound, like that Florida Scott Burns kind of sound with the basketball kick drums and shit. And like, I feel like there's a fine line between paying homage to something and just not really putting yourself in your music at all. But I don't know, because I hear a lot of modern bands that I would consider like contemporaries of ours, and I'm very inspired by what they're doing. And I think that there's a lot of bands out there like, Vomit Forth and like a Mourned. Like a lot of those East Coast Magasont bands are just, they're doing shit that's recognizable as like, these are classic death metal tropes in a way, but they're putting their own spin on it, and they're doing it in a way that makes it feel fresh. So in that sense, I think I would disagree with that take, but there is definitely shit out there that's like derivative for sure.
And maybe one thing that's like maybe not talked about a lot is when people group in like OG death metal, it's like you got to think about like, okay, there was like at that time in the early 90s, you had the Florida scene, which is going on, but then simultaneously you had like Finnish death metal, which is like very fucking different. It felt like way darker, more evil. And then at the same time, I mean, fucking since like 91, 92, there's like internal bleeding and suffocation. So it's like to kind of just say like OGs of death metal, and they had like this atmosphere. There was so much variance back then. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like obviously the Finnish cats had way more of an atmosphere, kind of creepy, like a Dromelick and Demolich. But then you had Suffocation, which is just coming real fucking raw and brutal with it, So It's like there's been bands all across the spectrum fucking forever. I personally think death metal is the best it's ever been. It's like I don't live in like this mindset of looking back to like some golden age, like
yeah. No, I agree completely.
Or something,
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like I think the biggest thing that's changed outside of just like everybody obviously being more connected with the internet and social media and shit is like there isn't really as much of a regional sound to places, like unintentionally, because Suffocation and like Internal Bleeding and all those like East Coast Long Island bands and shit, like they had a sound because they were all just playing off of each other, and they all came up in this own specific scene. And then all like the Swedish bands and the Finnish bands that you mentioned, they're all growing up like, I don't know what it's like in Finland, but they're all probably living in fucking caves and like, like drinking blood and shit. And so like that informs the sound of their music. And now when you have, Metal Archives and shit and Facebook and whatever, the thing you're being informed by isn't really your peers. It's, millions upon millions of bands that you're consuming in a rapid succession. But at the same time, like when something isn't inspired, you can tell. Like when you're listening to something, it sounds derivative. It sounds like nobody was really putting any like heart into it. That shit translates, So I think it's less like, I kind of forgot what the original question was, but I feel like it's less, things are not as good as they used to be. It's not like death metal was only good for 2 years and then every year since it's been bullshit. It's more just like things are different, Does that make any fucking sense?
No, it totally does. And that was kind of the questions. It just evolved. It's obviously different from it was fucking 30 years ago?
Yeah.
I hope it changed, because it would be extremely stale if it was just the same elements being recycled.
Yeah.
And it does come across as like uninspired, like when you hear somebody that's kind of just checking the boxes, like, okay, here's some elements, here's how you put a death metal song together.
Right.
I like bands who come out of fucking left field. Like we're talking earlier about during the news segment. I love the wild cards, man. Like, I don't know, I'm all about the wild cards, come out of left field with some cool shit. But I love all death metal. I love new death metal. I think it's kind of silly to say only the demos are good. Only if it came out, before 95, it's good, because you alienate a lot of cool music. But
like that documentary. It was a book first, but the movie American Hardcore. Like at the end of that movie, I forget who it is. I don't it might be Keith Harris, but it's just one of the old like 80s hardcore guys. It's like he's like, don't even try to make hardcore anymore. Like it stopped in 1984. Everything past that is stupid. Just like give up. And that always really pissed me off because I was like, bro, there are like there's so many good bands that you could actively choose to listen to if you just wanted to like participate in the shit that you pretend to like. But instead, you just want to sit there and be like a stuffy asshole about it.
That's just like the fucking I just joke around all the time because I like to I'm a fucking meathead. I like to lift weights and shit. But like, there's always the fucking old boy who's like, oh, when I was in fucking high school, I used to bench 3 plates or something. You know, like I was just living like they live in like some golden age. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that's cool. I used to fucking, you know, it's like
the future is now, old man.
Yeah, it's just their way of like kind of maybe like keeping some validity. Like, oh, hardcore died in '84. You know, only these select bands are hardcore. You
know. Right. Yeah, that shit's that's corny as fuck.
Yeah, man, it's a goofball mentality for sure. Who is Harris? What's that? Who's that cat from? Is that Circle Jerks or something?
Yeah, he was a singer of Circle Jerks. He was he wasn't the original, but I believe he was like the second or third singer of Black Flag.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
You've definitely seen pictures of him before. He's like this scarecrow looking dude with like floor length dreads.
I'm about to have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, I saw him and it was funny because I used to be a punk rock kid and like we idolized these bands and they were from like 20 years before our time, you know, 20 years before I got into it. So I'm like so stoked to go see Circle Jerks and I just see this old boy with like thinning dreads, you know, not to clown on them, but I was like, oh fuck, this kind of sucks. I just remember thinking like, oh damn, you know, I had this vision of them in my mind, like I'm seeing Circle Jerks, I'm 17, all pumped up, or 16, all pumped up and shit.
It goes both ways because sometimes you see bands that are like older, like when I saw Morbid Angel last year, like those dudes are, you know, in their 40s and 50s, and I was like, this is fucking sick. Like these are just old dudes playing evil fucking music. But then sometimes you go and see a band like the Circle Jerks, and it's just like depressing. You know?
Genre specific, because I saw Immolation with Blood Incantation. It was like before the whole world shut down and shit. It was like one of the recent tours. And dude, Immolation, they're old boys, but they fucking still get it. Like, hell, energetic. It was really cool, you know. But
it's just a mindset, bro.
Straight up.
You're only as old as you feel, dude.
Absolutely. Unless you're that Keith Morris guy. That boy was looking pretty.
That guy is just literally old as fuck, though, mentally and physically and spiritually.
Absolutely, all around. Well, shit, man. One thing we do at the end of the episode, we just try to give a little spotlight, not to put you on the spot, but maybe some, maybe just like shout out a band that you feel is maybe underrated, underappreciated. I know we kind of touched that out in a hot take, but maybe any bands that you want to show some love to or kind of spotlight a little bit.
Sure, dude. Yeah, I mean, I want to, let's see. There's this band I think they're from England. They're called Calligram. They put out an album this year called The Eye is the First Circle. I've got it right there. That's fucking sick. That band's awesome. It's just like really ferocious, like sort of atmospheric, but more just like driving straightforward black metal with a little bit more of like a artistic bent to it. I think that band's awesome, and I think they should get a lot more love than they do. You know, a lot of the Magasan bands are killing it right now. We already talked about them, but like Vomit Forth, More and 200 Stab Wounds, that shit is sick. Fluids, obviously same with Sogabog. You know, and then it's not metal at all, but there's a band called Tricot. It's spelled Tricot. I'm like legitimately fully just fucking obsessed with that band. And like, it's gotten to the point where I like follow all of the individual members on Instagram. Like I like sought them out so I could just keep tabs on them and shit. Like, cause their music is so good, and it's just like they're this like Japanese, I guess you could call it math rock, but they're just like amazing musicians, and they just have this like just total like understanding of just how to write a great guitar pop song. And like they just keep putting out fucking hit after hit. They did 2 albums this year, and like both are amazing. So that would be like, if you got to listen to any band immediately, that would be the band I would pick.
7. That kind of sounds right up your alley, don't? I mean, you kind of talking about some mathy shit, don't you? A little bit.
It's been a couple years since I've heard anybody talk about them, so that kind of tripped me out.
Yeah, I feel like I annoy everybody that I know because I just talk about them all the fucking time. Like, I got so self-conscious the other day because I shared one of their songs on my Instagram story, and my buddy responded to me, and he was like, "Dude, I finally checked out this band because you post about them every fucking day." I was like, "Fuck."
You're like, well, he checked them out.
Yeah, it worked.
7. What's your highlight, man? Who do you got?
My highlight is Foghorn.
Foghorn, running this shit! Fuck out my face, you fucking clown! Real bass shit for real bass motherfuckers! Fuck what you heard! Fight the fucking
San Francisco. They're real mad.
Some of that hardcore angst, no doubt. It's it's kind of, what is it? It's almost like straight up beat. It's kind of almost like hardcore with slams and beat down and shit. It's just some Bay Area, like, yeah, fuck you if you're not from the Bay.
But it's a little all over the place. It's fucking hilarious and like crazy heavy.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I've seen you like post a couple little samples, and like I said, there's like a little barrier of entry for me with like the hardcore vocals, but sometimes I can get past it. You know, I love some straight up beat down here and there. Yeah, there's a time and place for everything. You know. So I guess my spotlight, it's a band, I just discovered them yesterday, and I have to check out the album. It came out on that label P2.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're called. I know the Instagram's P2 Logia. I don't know the name. I think it's just P2. Kind of trippy label. But,
yeah, P2 is sick. They put out a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, dude, a lot of very interesting music. And they just put out a band called the Heretics Fork.
Cool.
And yeah, dude, it's fucking really trippy. It's kind of like a brutal death metal, grindcore, real pingy, like kind of like, I just listened to it a little bit and I was like, holy shit, I got to dedicate the time. I just discovered it yesterday, but I wanted to give them a shout out because the shit sounded fucking wild. And it was like almost like a collage of like, you know, like Michelangelo style, like medieval, like, I don't know. Just looks like angels falling or something, you know, just like a bunch of kind of cut and paste collage of those, you know. So I thought that was like pretty cool shit. For sure.
There's another album that just came out on P2 by, I think they're called Miasmic Necrosis. I think it's due to her, I could be totally wrong about this, but I think it's like due to her an artificial brain, and it's just like wild gore grind shit.
It's like super gory. It just came out, right?
Yeah, that's a sick album.
Well, those are cats for Artificial Brain. Dude, so much crossover because Will Smith from fucking Afterbirth, he's the vocalist of Artificial Brain. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I could be totally wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's like one of the guitarists or something.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot of people were posting pictures of that LP, and I was kind of curious who it was. I listened to just like a little snippet, but it sounded fucking gnarly.
It's really fucking good.
That's cool, man. Well, thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Obviously, the LP just came out, but anything in the works in terms of like merch drops, anything you want to shout out or plug?
We're doing a live. I don't know if it's gonna be a live stream, but we're doing like a live thing at St. Vitus down in Brooklyn next month. I think it's scheduled for. I don't know if that's been announced yet, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like another ticketed live stream type thing. So we're doing that. We got the second pressing of the album just dropped. Those are gonna be shipping in like December. We did a Coke Bottle Clear LP. I've always wanted to do one, so I'm happy that we finally did.
Nice.
And I think that's pretty much it. There's billions and billions of Undeath shirts out there. They're not hard to find.
yeah, you can fucking throw a rock and hit one, no doubt. But that's awesome, man. I love merch. I'm a fucking merch demon, dude. So I love that shit.
Me too.
But I'm just curious about the live streams. I want to ask you this question because I know a lot of people are doing it. So you guys are almost doing like a pay-per-view situation, right? Where you're charging a cover.
Yeah.
Would you advise a lot of bands do that? I know they're struggling right now through not being able to tour. Has that been pretty fruitful for you guys? I'm all about like I want bands to make money. I want them to do well. Like, is that something that you guys have been pretty successful with? The kind of a cover charge on the live stream?
Yeah, it worked out really well for us, and I would advise other bands to do it as long as like you're not charging a totally unreasonable fee for it, and B, you are putting on like something of a production. Like. You don't need pyro or anything, but like if you're just live streaming you like drunkenly playing 3 songs in your basement, like I don't think you should charge people for that. But like the reason that we charged for it wasn't because we were like, we just want to make a bunch of fucking money. It was because we were doing it at like a venue with a sound guy, and it was going to be like mixed and everything, and we were like splitting the money with the venue who was recording it. So we were viewing it more as a way that we could actually like pay a venue who was otherwise not really doing anything right now. So I think if you're doing something like that, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Totally, man. And that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily, I talk about all the time, people hating on like bands maybe experiencing some financial success or something like that. But there's like costs associated with all this, Obviously, like everything we do, like every bit of work, as much as I would love to give it away for free, there's like so much time put into it, a lot of labor. So it's like you at least want to get a little something back.
Yeah. And
I think I'm trying to, as much as I can, I'm trying to normalize bands making a little money, man.
Yeah.
I think it'd be, like I want bands to not have to work shitty day jobs. It's like that'd be fucking sick. I'm a big fan of rap. I love rap culture, man. It's a little gaudy and a little flashy, but it's like that's one thing I appreciate. It's like people kind of they show love when people come up a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate everything that you're saying. At the same time, it's like I feel like people act like a band charging $10, $15 for a live set is gonna like make them millionaires or something. But like nobody playing death metal is a fucking millionaire. Like a lavish lifestyle to me is just like not like having to spend my own money on gas, So like,
so you're telling me at the Undeath mansion, you guys don't have a door that opens up into a room full of coins?
You
like
see the room behind me right now?
Well, it just goes to show that you can, you can really rise to the top, and still maintain that fucking DIY spirit with it. So that's fucking awesome for sure.
Hell yeah, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, shit, man. Thanks so much for your time, homie. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, man.
Likewise, man. This was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
Hopefully we can have you on, and just like touch base in the future, updates with the band, see how you're doing. But yeah, man, once again, thanks so much for everything and have a great evening, homie.
You too, bro. Yeah, thank you both very much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah, man. And reach out. I fucking, from here on out, dude, it's an unofficial partnership, man. Anything Undeath you guys do, I'm going to hype it, dude. I got you. I mean, you don't need my fucking hype, but but I'm going to do what I can, man. Straight up. I'm going to show love.
Street, bro. We fucking got you guys.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, thanks for everything, bro, and have a great evening, homie.